Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, game number 2 of the London Conspiracy versus Virtus Pro set to get underway. Welcome to the opening day of Starladder Season 11. This is Season 12. What's up, KotlGuy?
Season 11.
12 something. Season 12.
Hope all your pans are ready to go. So it's going to be good fun. London Conspiracy taking on Virtus Pro.
Yep.
Game number 1 was relatively close. London Conspiracy running with their opener Drow lineup, Drow Visage. There was a point there where it looked pretty scary. They were getting their Roches done, and they were getting ready to breach the base, but by that point, Virtus Pro were like, it's okay, we'll move on to our next game plan, and we will add pressure elsewhere and force them to make a choice, whether to push or defend. They took too long to choose. It was a bit too awkward. Things got hectic, and Virtus Pro took over.
You could tell LC was not comfortable in that kind of a scenario when they had to choose. Do we push? Do we go high ground? A lot of indecision. But let's move into the draft, see what these teams are working on over here. And, well, Game 2, this go-around, Virtus Pro, they get the first pick, and they will be on actually the same sides. There's been sort of a change in the tournament meta of the way you do picks inside, and I'm not sure if this is really public knowledge, the way people talk about stuff like this, but it used to be you do the coin flip, whoever wins it gets to choose if they want side or pick, and then it just alternates. So if one team says I want first pick, then next go around the other team gets first pick, and you're forced to go back and forth. Now it alternates who gets to pick. So you win the coin toss in first series, you get to choose side or pick, and then the second match, it goes to the other side, and they get to choose side or pick.
And the third game usually goes back to the first game.
It's one of these matchups where one team really loves Dire and the other team really loves Radiant, you could end up seeing them on the same sides both times if both teams continually choose. So just a little difference. That seems to be the new standard here. But talking about a little different, well, I got a graphical bug here as they're both lit up, but it's the game is so excited it's just highlighted the Broodmother.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, that's a
Broodmother's second pick.
That is brave.
That's like
against an Earthshaker, no less.
I'm just gonna zip this down right here, put that out there so you can see it. There it is. So what are you gonna do about it? Virtus Pro, what are you gonna do? I mean, they do have the benefit of the axe being pre-banned out, but there is still a lot out there that can deal with Brood. One of the best anti-Brood lineups I saw was getting like a Spirit Breaker and a Zeus together. It was just Zeus zap, Spirit Breaker pulls out the charge, and there's nowhere Broodmother could go. Legion Commander, another good grab that's still out there as a formidable counter, but Virtus Pro still want to take advantage of some of the niche top platinum picks that are available. They get a hold of a Shadow Fiend on their Radiant side after already grabbing up Earthshaker, one of the best, more defensive supports, and one of the best supports going against the Brood. Reminder that they picked this Brood also into an Earthshaker. This is as ballsy as you get with your Brood play. You better have one hell of a Brood player to know that you're going to be going into a lineup like this already and already have so much of the draft to work with.
Yeah, absolutely. And sorry, I'm trying to get the good word out, of course, guys. We're aware that London Conspiracy is not from London. They are a Greek team. I know this. KotlGuy knows this. We are not in charge of the data that goes into the assets here. This is a Starladder database.
Does it say it's from London?
Yeah, it says they're from the UK here. We'll pull it up real fast. You can see the...
Let me see this.
The announce. Look at that. London Conspiracy from the United Kingdom.
Oh, yeah, that's not right.
Yeah, that's not right. It's been reported. It should be updated very soon. Thank you for your concern.
We know that UK does not have a Dota scene.
Yeah.
No, but in all seriousness, today it's Europe and CIS. So London Conspiracy, it's a funny name, but here we go, man. It's a funny draft. Going out with the rest of the bands, they remove the Bristleback and the Slark on the side of Virtus Pro. They eliminate the Dazzle and follow it up with the elimination of your Vengeful Spirit, which leaves prominent off-lane grabs like the Bat Rider, still out for potential grabs here. And London Conspiracy, I'm just curious to see how they're going to build around, already showing out the Brood.
Yeah, you mentioned the Spirit Breaker, and I really think that is one of the better heroes that deal with the Brood. You talked about the LC and the heroes that can clear out the spiders, and they're great in terms of a lane counter, but Spirit Breaker feels more of like a real counter to Brood, where you can reveal her from across the map. If you catch just a little bit of vision, her life gets very, very difficult. And Rubik now, the third choice for London Conspiracy. Interesting, I guess.
I like the Rubik
good against
pick.
the Earthshaker.
Yeah, good. You
you
get a quick fissure. You get a quick reaction fissure rather. His magical resistance certainly helps against the Earthshaker. You got good early roam, gank potential, good pressure, good zoning. Fade Bolt is nice to nerf down some of the damage from your big right clickers like Shadow Fiend. Given that he doesn't get a BKB at that point, and just good formidable grab. And if you got a good Rubik player, just kind of suits in there. Other good support options that were available that they kind of passed over, surprisingly, though, was like Lion. Has been a top pick for most of these teams if you want initial lockdown and good initiation on that front. And could have potentially worked pretty nice in this lineup, but Rubik does obviously kind of make Virtus.pro second guess what kind of commitments they want to go from here. Neither team really going too jungle heavy at this point. I guess Brood can make that a bit difficult, but we're not like seeing your Chens, your Enigmas that other regions really go for.
Yeah, Enigma is another one of those weird heroes right now that some teams prioritize so much and others really not at all. But VP switching things up, Slardar, another good hero to deal with the Brood. And, well, speak of the devil, there's the Enigma himself, the Voidwalker.
You're picking an Enigma, though, into a Slardar who's most likely going to be a safe lane farming Slardar. And now the Slardar knows that he's going to be going against a dual lane, given that Enigma will be in the jungle. So I think it still works out pretty nice for Virtus.pro. Now they move in, they get a hold of the Phoenix here. Oh, I hope we see a Treant Protector as a secondary support here for Virtus.pro.
Yeah. You like it? You dig it on the tree vibes?
I mean, tree unfortunately doesn't offer a whole lot for Broodmother, but the tree Phoenix combo, man, is so good. If you didn't already have the privilege of watching some DAC action with EG, PPD formulated a nice draft with the Universe Phoenix and himself on the Tree Protector. It was just so much awesome team fight and so much great damage. But they could put more value into making sure they have this Broodmother in check. They already have it with Earthshaker, though.
Yeah.
And
I
would
think
be
Slardar is a great tool to deal with the Brood. Also really good against the Sniper. If you hit him with an Amp, Blink In, Slithering Crush, that Sniper is not going to be lasting too long. As we've talked about many a time, mobile heroes with Blink Daggers fare quite well against the Sniper. And, well, you've got 3 heroes that can easily get a Blink. Shadow Fiend, Slardar, Earthshaker all fit that category. And Phoenix, well, he's got an Icarus dive, so you can still hop in there, close the gap, hit him with some of those fiery spirits, and make his auto-attacking life a bit more difficult. But very brave to pick the Phoenix into Sniper. Sniper is considered one of the heroes that works very well against the Egg.
Yeah. I just feel like the laning phase should work pretty nicely for Virtus.pro, given that they don't have a whole lot to stop the Brood early on. They have Slardar and his amp damage for later on to make sure they can keep him in check. But the laning phase where Brood's going to stride to get level 2, or level 3 rather, get the early Soul Ring, not a whole lot to prevent that. Given that they could either make the value into getting some early sentries for the laning phase, or they get early sentries to put them in the jungle. So you have that bit of a choice between, or you just get double the sentries and you do both. But I'm curious to see where they put the priority as far as keeping the Enigma in check or keeping the Brood in check.
Now I like this final ban here, the Spirit Breaker. We've talked about it quite a bit, and LC showing some respect. Even with a Phoenix picked up, a roaming a roaming Spirit Breaker could still be difficult. Virtus.pro ban out the Centaur. Interesting choice here. I guess LC do need an off laner. And they ran it last game, so just thinking in their comfort zone. And
Tidehunter is another option. You get your Tidehunter Enigma Wombo combo factor that Rubik would salivate over if on the other side. But then you're putting a lot into initiation and team fight, and a lot rather around those ultimates. And you don't even know yet where Virtus.pro is going to get with the 5th pick. If Virtus.pro decide to get something like a Zeus for the scouting potential of Brood, it also ruins all that initiation factor that LC could fall back on. So we have to just see what they decide to go with here. I think putting too much in that team fight could be a bit scary. But
yeah, they need a safe lane farmer. And I guess they were worried about like a Centaur going really fast Blink Dagger and just controlling the game. So Brood in the off lane.
Or they could do an aggro. No, they can't. They can't. They have an Enigma.
Yeah.
So
what would be a good safe lane farmer for LC here? I mean,
if they want to hold their own with only one support.
If they want a tempo controller, something like a Brewmaster could be okay here. Not bad against the Slardar. It's a form of control.
What about a core silencer to go against this Phoenix?
Oh, silencer. I mean, why don't we just get a Pugno while we're at it here?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna be saying those two supports until the end of days, until they finally kick in. But the fact of the matter is whoever this is more than likely has to fill the void of safe lane farming and having possibly only a Rubik by their side.
It's
hey,
Brew.
Good call on the Brew, man. Brew's able to hold his own and could work nicely as far as being the space creator. He gets up in your face, allows Sniper to have kind of free will in the back lines, and you kind of have Enigma who's able to make the jump in. Lots of space creation here across the board with both Brew and Brood. Oh, this is going to be terrible to cast.
Ooh.
Brew and Brood. And your Sniper can go, but it's a Lina as a last grab. Pretty surprising, but hey, a lot of these teams nowadays have found a lot of value into kind of a core position Lina. And we'll see if that's going to be the same case here for Virtus Pro. But there's your drafts, people. It's game number 2 of this best-of-3 series. Reminder that Virtus Pro are coming into this game 2 match with a 1-game advantage.
Yes, sir. They took game number 1, and well, they could take game number 2 here if London Conspiracy aren't careful. They took a bit of a greedy draft with Enigma in the jungle, Sniper and Brew. All need a lot of farm to kind of come online, or at least a baseline. Get that fast Blink Dagger, get your Mask of Madness for the Snipper.
I feel like there's going to be Virtus Pro trying to take advantage of what could be a weak laning start for London Conspiracy. I mean, it seems a bit predictable as is unless London Conspiracy change it up. They know that the Brood's going to look to get what they want in the off lane. They know the Brood could be pretty weak until getting that level 6 in the top lane. It only has the one support because Enigma's going to be more focused on the jungle. It seems a bit predictable as far as the early game for Legion Commander, and it could be something that Virtus Pro looked to take advantage of the same way in game number 1. It was predictable what they wanted to do with the Drow, and they forced them into an awkward position there. They could look to do the same. Could look.
Yep, and we'll move into a pause to get things started. So
we've been having a bit of internet server hiccups, not just with us, but with the players as well. But it looks like it's a very minor hiccup here, as we are going to be able to get into the game. And underway, and you did say it right, the hat matchup here, if you care about the hats and the Dota2 lounge and all that get up. It is about a 60-40 matchup here, maybe closer to 50-50. Slight odd favorite here for Virtus Pro coming into this one.
Yeah, we got a couple Arcanas here on the Radiant side, the Lina and the Shadow Fiend, the fiery devils themselves.
Well, it looks like they want to go right for the jungle and probably contest the Enigma farm quite a bit. They got a couple of sentries already onto your Lina. So this means that when they move into the jungle and get this done, there's not going to be any sentries left for the Brood in the off lane.
You're ready, though. BZZ goes up, slithers back down to the low ground. Fissure breaks things up. Madara isolated here. Phoenix goes swooping on in. The Brewmaster, I think, destined to fall, but can they find another one? Sadoy taking a lot of damage. He's making the retreat. He'll live. Now Weehaw gets caught. Oh, a disastrous start for the Dire side. Fast 2-0 in the jungle. They even had the superior positioning, holding the high ground here, but then they quickly realized, wait a tick, we don't have the better level 1 lineup. We can't take this fight, and I think they needed to just approach that with a much more defensive tone in mind. VP with a very clear advantage there.
Yeah, when you get an Enigma, you just got to be prepared that that's something that could be coming your way. A contention towards the jungle, and if you don't have a strong level 1 game, you might want to consider being in a more defensive position than just kind of being there ready for it.
You've got Brood, who's borderline useless with Spin Web. You've got Enigma, who's borderline useless with Demonic Conversion. At that point, you've got 2 heroes relegated to auto attacks when VP has everyone who can do damage. Shadow Fiend gets the raise early on, the fissure block, lots of stuns. Very smart play from VP, and now they start off with a big edge. Who actually got the first blood was the Phoenix. Okay, Shadow Fiend killed the Sniper, but this Phoenix going to be off to a very good start here with fast boots.
It's very interesting how he got that first blood. He made the dive forward, and you can already see the potential there for Rubik going against this Phoenix as 224, or Skanks, I guess is his alias name. If you were quick with the reaction, your telekinesis could prevent a good Icarus dive from Sadoy on being able to get away or being able to move in. So it seems like that's going to be the game plan, but this Phoenix is only going against the dual lane. We'll have to see if Virtus Pro are going to really dominate here in the early laning phase. You can already see Jotum here mid lane, keeping Weehaw occupied and busy and away from the CS.
Yeah, exactly right. You don't have to find a kill here for this to be a success. Jotum is just trying to bait. Like, look at me. Come on, Sniper. Come
Who's
on.
Who's going to help him? Enigma's like, I got to do the jungle. And Rubik's like, I got to keep this Phoenix in check. So Weehaw's stuck on his own, and they know that.
Yeah, and they will get aggressive. This is just bait to see if Weehaw will make a misstep. If he comes too far forward, they'll capitalize and go for a kill, and if not, they're happy to zone him out. And look at this. Now, G, that's all he needed to take over this lane. Sniper is 0-0, while the Shadow Fiend is 7-5. He's already got 11 Necromastery Souls stored up.
Yeah.
Mid lane is, I don't want to say over, but already kind of disastrous for the Sniper.
And in a matchup where Sniper should be better on paper, Shadow Fiend's happy to get this early boost, so he pits the lane towards his favor right now, all thanks to Jotum right there. And Jotum's just going to keep that close eye and keep that close watch as far as what could be coming his way. But they are not going to be seeing a lot as far as rotations on the side of LC. And the second that this Rubik ventures away from the top lane, that's where Sadoy gets the most out of it. Right now, only going one-on-one against Madara is just a beautiful thing for him.
Well, let's check in on this bottom lane. BZZ, 7-0, Brood. Well, 3 and 1, getting a little bit out of this lane. Radiant already have a sentry ward down, so they do have some ways to deal with him.
It's good, though. I mean, even the Slardar has a good partner here in Lena. Those spiders come out, and Lena's going to be roasting them up pretty easily. Anytime that this Brood wants to show himself, she's thinking about moving forward and keeping the harassment there. This is what's expected, man. Virtus Pro are just going to have an early lane advantage here, and we'll see if they want to hold on to it, and LC what they got to do to bounce back.
Lena's got Dust and Sentries. They are equipped to deal with this Brood, and if Relax presses too far forward, if he gets clipped by a Slitherine Crush, you can expect that Lena to follow up with a flurry of damage. Level 2 Dragon Slave ready to go. Sadoy, he's having a really good time this offlane, though. He's almost level 4 already. Only 2 tangos left, but getting some good experience. So is the Brood, but the difference here is that, well, actually, no, they're farming evenly. Both offlaners having an equally good time. Never mind.
Yeah, they're going to be doing fine. And now that Relax can relax and be level 3, he's very close to finishing out his Soul Ring. He can kind of just move in and out from the trees and snipe a couple of CS with his Spiderlings. But
he does have the Icarus dive here, but can he make it out? A lot of damage coming his way. Dive from long range, and Malefice almost finds the kill. 15 HP. The bird flies away. Now in the bottom lane, they going on to Relax. They catch it with the stuns. Lena secures the kill. And that's all it takes to take down the Spider.
Well, there's a difference between your two offlaners right
there.
there.
You go.
So Brood ends up going down bottom lane with only the 2-man takedown. While top lane, they converge and try to get 3 involved to get a hold of this Phoenix, and they still can't do it. You know, Malefice came in at the end. Telekinesis was before the Icarus dive, so Sadoy was able to just kind of make a slip escape, and thankfully for him, maybe a value GG branch if you want to put it, but he walks away with barely any life. And Enigma, you can feel, is just desperate to get involved with something because having a bit of a slow start in his jungle, it's about to be minute 4, and he's only level 3.
Yeah, that hurts. You look at the mid lane, Shadow Fiend closing in on level 6. Sniper, he's about 2/3 of a level behind the Shadow Fiend. Still yet to find his 5, but certainly slower than what the Enigma would like to be working on here. We'll see. Oh, that's a cute ward spot here. They've blocked out this camp and still get some good vision into the jungle. Not that high ground ward spot to get vision of the rune, but they've got another ward for that. I do like that play from Virtus Pro. A ward spot that you wouldn't normally think of. And you see he tried to sentry it, and it's right out of range. That's a big victory for the Radiant.
That's the only sentry they had, too. They split the sentry between the Enigma to get one prevented in the camps, and they gave one to Brood just in case they had a sentry there. But both sentries become useless, as Brood didn't really need to use a sentry there in the bottom lane and put it down anyways.
Yeah, I think their sentry was about to expire. You might have killed it, but it was about to expire anyhow. Enigma rotating mid. Uh-oh, Lena's waiting nearby. Connects with the LSA. Oh, Spartan. He triggers the trap card. My, oh my, easy kills for G. Now he's capped out in souls, and Sniper's like, thanks a lot. That's really what I was looking for, buddy. Jotum's here, Fissure. Can he block him out? Weehaw. Oh, he's gonna go down. It's a double for G. Shadow Fiend, he is controlling this game. He's 29 and 15 in CS. Sniper's 11 and 0, and now he's kicked the bucket.
Yeah, this is hard. Over. Mid lane definitely lost for this Sniper right now and has to try to pull this one back. G is just going to have an easy breezy time at this point, and they just get welcomed with a freebie kill on that Enigma. Enigma, when he's just not getting a lot in his own jungle, just you can feel the pressures there to try to make an impact elsewhere. Try to make it go on top, couldn't get the kill, and Sadoy goes to mid lane and is welcome with, like you said, the trap, as they were already planning on making it go onto the Sniper in the mid lane. He goes down again, 0 and 1 for your Enigma, has to go back to the jungle to get it going. And it's just as expected from the draft. It's going to be a slow start here for LC. And mind you, when the mid-game approaches, they're going to have to try to take fights as a 4-man because they got Brood working on the bottom. But you already see Virtus Pro building up into a very nice mid-game with these early kills. 5-0. This could be a quick one, but I don't want to speak too soon.
5-0 is a huge lead, no doubt about it, but I think what's scarier is how poorly the Brew is farming in the safe lane. Phoenix has done a lot to make his life more difficult, just taking his attention off the wave, and he only has 23 last hits. You compare that to the 32 of the Slardar in the safe lane, who's also picked up a series of assists here as they've tried to pressure the Brood. Oh, are they going for it? Yeah, they are. That's an amp damage. More than enough to bring down the Spider. The Arachnid will be swatted again, but Brew actually went for power treads here, and I feel like rushing the Blink Dagger was really the play, and now that's going to slow down the amount of tempo controlling they'll have at their disposal. G, Invisibility Rune up, lining it up, goes in onto Spartan. There's a Fissure to break things up. He should still go down. Yep, there it is. Raise over the cliff. Now he clears out this neutral camp. And Sniper rotates over. G
almost fissure. Almost fissure.
There is an assassinate. Is it enough damage, though? No, he's going to bottle through, and he gets interrupted by the fissure. Nope, he just cancels it anyway. Realizes it's not enough damage. Nicely played. They get away with that. 7-0 as Shadow Fiend gets another one. He is now 4-0-1. The Nevermore is an absolute beast.
Yep. Enigma gets brought down another peg at this point, trying to get together to level 5, just a fresh level 4 at about 7 minutes in. Very rough start for him. It's been rough already for your Sniper in the mid lane. Now going against a more stacked
Just press
Shadow
Y.
Fiend.
Look at the Shadow Fiend compared to the Sniper. 4.7 compared to the 2. That is disgusting at 7 minutes.
They just have to hope that as mid game goes on, Virtus Pro get their get occupied with trying to make fights happen across the map, and maybe with disciplined passive play from LC, they can kind of take it slow and hope that maybe Weehaw could scrap together some farm for himself and try to contest into the later game. But as it stands right now, it's a strong head start for Virtus Pro. Very strong.
Strong indeed, good sir. Enigma, look at this. He's still only halfway through level 4. This is a hero notorious for dominating in the early game in terms of farming rate. Could have the beginnings of a mech, maybe be halfway there, and should be on point with the mid laners. Of course, there's a big disparity, level 9 on the Shadow Fiend, level 7 on the Sniper, but Enigma should at least be level 6 by now, and he has just been crippled from failed rotations, getting ganked in his own jungle, and when you can keep an Enigma down like this, he just is not scary.
And now you have Sadoy, who's level 6, has the mana now for the egg. It's going to be that much more comfortable in the lane. But here we go. This is going to be another attempt to try to take the bird. Can LC get themselves on the board? Telekinesis throw back. He's holding the egg. He has no mana now for it, but still has Icarus dive. Can he get it off in time? He's going to be forced to pull out the egg as the mana does come together. Can they right-click it down? They can. So with that, they get themselves on the board from top to bottom. They get 2 more along the bottom. Brood ends up going down the back end of another fight that comes to an end.
He gets Lina, the big kills in the mid. Weehaw finds a solo on the Shadow Fiend, ends the dominating streak. Talk about your road to recovery. Now, he's almost level 9, only a level behind that of the Shadow Fiend. I totally missed that one as there were 3 kills happening across 3 lanes there.
Yeah.
But LC finally strike. Brood gets a solo kill, Sniper gets a solo kill, and then they team up on the Phoenix up top. All of a sudden, the Brewmaster closing in on a Blink Dagger with 1,600 gold. Just look at the net worth chunk there. That's a huge swing of momentum. The rubber band effect already being shown here.
I really do not know. And
does Madara die here?
Looking back.
No. Okay. TP's out. That's a close call, though.
How did G get caught out? I mean, you have 3 committed to the top lane. He probably had Jotum somewhat close by.
I mean, I'm thinking maybe a series of good headshots when he was far forward. I really don't know. I mean, that's the one I wish I was watching. More so than the others.
Yeah, I mean, G's just so farmed at this point. He shouldn't be giving anything away, even if it's just the one-on-one matchup between him and Weehaw. But I was expecting that John would be nearby to help, but maybe there was something breaking out or a skirmish about to happen on the bottom lane, and John probably got obligated to go that way. But still, even on his own, G should not be caught out like that. But he ends up going down, and they give LC a bit of a boost early on, one they certainly needed, as they go from 7-0 now to 8-3. Relax is going to be taking over the jungle and finding bits of side farm there. But you still have BZZ, who's been farming pretty well here on his Slardar. He is second in net worth at about 4,600 gold, bottled up illusion ready to go. And he is getting pretty damn close to a Blink Dagger.
Yeah. Yes. Slardar as well as the Brew. They're about on point with each other with 50 gold difference. So they'll have their Blinks coming out at a similar time. I feel like that's when Virtus Pro will start to turn up the aggression a bit more once they have that Blink. Dust used. It does clip the Brood Mother, but just a little too speedy here as Relax starts clearing out this Radiant jungle. Needs to be careful, though. A little duration left on the Dust. And no, they're not going to find him. G closing in on his Yule's Scepter of Divinity, just a Void Stone away. Always a big pickup on the Shadow Fiend. Great farming tool and gives you some serious kill potential. Weehaw in the mid. Fissure to set things up as we move into slideshow mode again. Shadow Raise is going to be there, and they're not quite going to connect. Now 2-2-4 comes in. Telekinesis onto Jotum, but it's BZZ. He joins the party, finishes off the Sniper. Now the Earthshaker falls off to the side. It's a 1-for-2. And it's not over yet. Now on the backside, Relax is joining the party. Black Hole onto G, but BZZ. Slitherine crushes him down. Now it's a 1-for-3. VP taking a very strong fight. G just requiems the spiders.
Maybe hoping Relax was going to be there because Relax shows up, drops down the web, and he's just like, I don't even want to risk being slowed down from these spiders. Maybe I can even catch out a nearby brood who wouldn't see him on top of the cliff. Not the case, obviously. And with that turnaround from Enigma, he pops his soul ring just to make sure he has the mana to get out of Black Hole in hopes that maybe Relax could come in from behind. But yeah, was not expecting BZZ to be there. Shows up, rains on his parade, and quickly becomes now 11-4 advantage for Virtus Pro.
At first, I thought that Slardar had a Blink Dagger he was debuting there as he got there so damn quick, but that was just cruising across the map. Now the Yule's being debuted up top. Madara, no way to survive that one. Fissure locks him in place as he comes back down, and a series of raises secure the kill. 12-4, another one up for Virtus Pro as their snowball continues to grab momentum. Brew has his Blink Dagger, so that kill doesn't hurt as much as it could have. BZZ, he's got his Blink Dagger now as well. Yep, there it is. So things will continue to heat up here, I think.
And you already mentioned the Yules, I imagine, on G. So
yeah, we saw it up there.
He didn't have it in the last fight. Probably would have made for an easier pick off onto the sniper, but now they have to know.
He did set up that kill with on the Brood with it, though. And whoa, Slardar gets a courier pick. Okay, no cargo. Dives deep to get it, but a little gold gain for Virtus Pro. Never a bad thing.
No, certainly not, man. He went real deep for that one. But they got it done. And look at this. Scout out right now. Move forward. Brew. Split's going to be there. Jotum gets lifted, pulled back. They're able to quickly take down the Lina, and then it's going to be Jotum who drops thereafter. Madara with a double kill for LC. Gives them a breath of fresh air back into this game at 13 minutes in.
Yeah, only pickoffs on the supports, but they'll take anything they can get right now. Double kill for Brew is definitely good news, and he needs that momentum after a slow start here. Not the most meaningful kills, though. Like I said, makes a dent to the net worth graph, but still the core is farmed around, pressuring the lanes. Phoenix
catch up Midas.
Hand to Midas.
Yeah, all right. Catch up Midas right now.
Is it a catch up Midas? I feel like it's just a standard Midas for
standard Midas on Phoenix right now, you think?
Yeah.
What do they go for after their Midas?
Not too much. A Yule Scepter is an option. Aghanims will pop out. I mean, that's the thing, though. Phoenix is one of these heroes that doesn't need big items to make the big plays. You really need levels. So that's why the Midas is becoming more and more core on Phoenix. I think I've seen it on the majority of Phoenix games I've cast over the past few weeks.
Yeah, I guess it's just been I've seen more.
You just want to get to that level 3 egg. That's really where it's at.
Yeah.
That's the value town. 11 auto attacks is a lot. Jumping from 5 to 11 makes a big difference.
Oh, Madara in trouble. Laguna Blade going to be there. Your Brew without the split. He's going to split out to the Afterworld, I suppose. He's done for.
Without a split, there's just nothing you can do there.
Good grab, good heads up. Good Laguna coming out. Virtus Pro. Get it done, and now we'll add pressure here on the top lane. We're going to try to get some early damage in, but also rotations to look out for mid lane. Hard to see with the slideshow Dota happening right now, but
Jotum.
Free spiders.
Assassinate. Okay, they killed Jotum, I think. Yep, he's dead. Now BCZ. He's in some trouble. He's on the run. Is it even worth trying to do the play-by-play here, or should we just look at the team fight recap after it's done? G's got a double damage rune on. The egg goes off. BZZ goes on to 2-2-4. Madara gets hit by the supernova. That's a death requiem. It looks like LC might be taking this fight. Sadoy, he's doing what he can, but he's running low on HP. Relax. Trying to make it up. BZZ comes in. Slithering Crush. Yeah, that'll bring him down.
Pretty sure he jumped in there.
Okay, it's a 1 for 3.
Oh,
Sadoy. The laser onto the high ground. Whoa!
Wow.
But it's a Midnight Pulse. That finds the go. So 2 for 3, he thinks it is.
16 to 9.
3 for 3. They
when
killed
the dust settles.
Okay.
3 for 3.
Oh, that was fun. I always knew I had a backup career in storybook telling here. This is like...
It's one step away from Radio Dota.
Dota goes PowerPoint. Slardar picks up a Vanguard, and Mom up on the sniper.
I like the Vanguard going into Crimson Guard against someone like Brew and all these Spiderlings and the Eidolons and all that. Getting rid of all the potential excess damage that these summons could be dishing out will be quickly nerfed. And certainly doesn't hurt to have that extra durability, because an AC could be something to follow thereafter on your BZZ, and then the armor gets a bit crazy. You put that together with your Shadow Fiend, and some of these LC heroes could be crippled pretty damn fast. But here we go. It's Spartan potentially leading out the front here as the Enigma is smoked up with company. Black Hole ready to go. We could potentially see a slideshow Black Hole breaking out here.
Oh, they catch Weehaw. One more auto attack ought to bring him down. The Dragon Slave falls just a little bit short. Spartan, they're lining it up. There's a Fission to break it up. Black Hole, it's just on G, though. Is the damage there? Johnham gets a dunk on to relax. It'll cost him his life, but now the Enigma falls. The slideshow ends at an opportune time as now the Brew in a little bit of trouble. He's got just an Earth Panda left and soon to go back into Panda form. They do eventually chase down the Sniper. He blinks back, and it's another successful fight for the Radiant side. A 1 for 3 already, but now the Brew caught by the Yules. Blink, Slithering Crush. Requiem gets set up on LSA, and man, they take that bear down. 1 for 4, 20 to 10. Virtus Pro come out ahead.
Gotta tell you, BZZ is putting in the work right now. He has got so much mileage across this map. He is 6-0-5, and he is just really putting in the work. That big advantage in the laning phase bottom as they were able to put the Brood in check time and time has allowed him to get a nicely timed Blink Dagger, and ever since he's gotten it, he's been on one side getting good grabs, good picks. He's getting a courier on the other. He's really just getting a lot done across the board. Props to him.
Spartan, not the place to TP to. There's a Yule Scepter waiting for you. That's an LSA. Easy pickings here in the mid lane. Now the rest of the fight will break out, and I don't know if this is a fight that LC want to take. Icarus dive in. There's your egg forced onto the side. The rest of the team, the Blink Bros are in town. I hope you got front row tickets because Slardar is crushing on in. Another double kill for BZZ.
It's almost Galco style the way he's slamming down the hammer right there and just causing a mess. It's just ridiculous. 23 to 10, and now the segue as Virtus Pro move themselves into the Roche pit. That minus armor will be able to really do quite the number here onto the big boy, and with that, they'll have an Aegis in tow. And already what was a huge advantage in this game could get ugly fast. Virtus Pro now pushing towards the 7K net worth lead and rising, especially after that Roche takedown. Your Aegis, it's going to be hand over to G now on his Shadow Fiend. And we'll just see. Probably not looking to let up whatsoever. Really, what could be the comeback play at this point for LC? There's the jump and stun's going to be a bit short. And the TP out is going to be successful there for Madara.
Oh, but Lena getting stalked by a big bad spider. All right, there is a Midas up on relax, but oh, this Brood just couldn't get it fast enough. They're losing so much tempo here. Spartan caught out again in the jungle. He's got a mech, but it just doesn't matter. They blow him up so damn fast. Now that the Blink Daggers are out, you just can't react fast enough. BKB on the way for BZZ and G with 3,000 gold. We'll see what he wants next, but so far it seems like mobility items are all he needs. Holding the high ground, 2-2-4. Again, the wrong place at the wrong time. My, oh my.
Perfect 3 raises set up. Vision on the high ground. Rubik thinks he wants to, you know, kind of move into his jungle, maybe plant some obs wards. He's holding 3 of them. He's just desperate to get out there and reclaim some of this vision, but Virtus Pro having none of it. They know that they have this game in control. Just look at these aggressive wards that Virtus Pro have thrown down into the enemy territory, even well behind the jungle. They don't want to see any sort of early comeback smokes. They want to know exactly what LC want to do when they have their supports, when they have their cores moving desperately into the jungle to find farm there. And that way Virtus Pro could be there as their neighbor, ready to go and make sure they can constantly put them in check.
Yeah. This aggression is just non-stop, though. Tier 1 up top goes down. VP claiming more and more map control. BZZ just zoning him out with his Slytherin body. They think he's nearby, and LC just start to run. There we go. Amp damage up on the Enigma. BZZ, the ultimate space creator now, as G as well as Yol move into this Tier 2 tower. Nearly 5,000 gold up on G all of a sudden. Still just pooling it for now. No reason to get too crazy with it. Glyph comes out. Fight in the jungle, though. They find the Enigma. They set it up with a fissure. Spartan not respecting the reach of the Earthshaker. He had amp damage on him. Should have known that they could see him, and another easy pick-off.
Just such a hard game for this Enigma, man. Such a hard game. Never had an easy life at any point, whether it was the jungle start when they had the immediate first blood, and now he continues to get caught out over and over again. Virtus Pro claim the Tier 2 top lane, strut themselves towards the high ground here, and they feel confident that they'll be able to close out this series perfect 2-0.
It's starting to feel that way. LC need to make something happen very soon here to even have a chance in this game. Sniper just so underfarmed. Shadow Fiend more than doubling him now. He's got a Mask of Madness, but that gun he's got just not hurting too much. There's the Spirit Bomb. Blows up the Brewmaster. He'll buy back. He's got an ultimate here, but now the Icarus dive. Egg. Spartan can't even get the black hole. Weehaw dies to the burn. And now the split comes out, but gee, he even has an Aegis here. So if they kill him, doesn't even really matter. Rubik steals a Requiem, and it just tickles. Sadoy. Ooh, needs to be a little careful. He's got an Icarus dive. I think he's okay. Yol. He TP's out. They get away scot-free. They still hang on to the Aegis, which still has 2 minutes left on it.
Zeus, please. They're all so low. So squishy.
All right, Brood is split pushing, though. Gets a tier 2 tower in the bottom lane. If they're not careful, could do some damage to the barracks.
He's got 3.8k. He's pretty rich.
Yeah, that Hand of Might is paying off. 2 heroes will TP back. Yol, as well as Jotum, will repel the Arachnid. Now G goes in. They go ham on the Rubik.
Uh-oh, Echo bottom lane probably on the Brood. The follow-up. There it is. Boom. See you later.
Meanwhile, back at the base, Enigma, Black Hole available. They go on to BZZ. They get the kill on the Slardar. That ends his godlike streak, and all of a sudden, Spartan has 1,300 gold. That's nice.
It's the richest he's been all game. So happy about that one. Maybe he can throw together early BKB. I'd say Blink Dagger, but they got to expect at this point that they're going to be doing a lot of defense. And, well, there's going to be the poking continuing there from G as top lane. He just doesn't want to let up. He wants to move in inch by inch now that the tier 3 is down and Raxes are exposed. Feels confident that he can kind of keep the pressure towards the base and force LC to constantly be there and, you know, have it in check.
Yeah. So Virtus Pro, they give up a tier 2 tower in the bottom lane, but all things considered, they're still feeling very good. They force the Brew to buy back. They only lose their Slardar. Aegis will end up despawning, it looks like, but already a Blink Dagger up on the Earthshaker. That's now the trio of Blink Daggers they needed. Even Lina has a Yule, so a lot of mobility, 2 ways to set up, and now a Shiva's Guard comes out onto Sadoy. He's already seeing some dividends here from this Hand of Midas. And a BKB on Slardar. The items just keep coming.
Yeah. You can see Spartan gets the Ogre Club, is going to go with the BKB, and there's going to be the smoke. It was not scouted out. There is a ward nearby, but it's just a little too far up before they could see it here. So this is LC with the YOLO smoke. They scout out the bird, but with an Icarus dive, it might be hard to get. There's going to be the snipe. It connects. He is very low on life. Heals up. Oh, they're trying to catch up, but they don't quite have the momentum, or do they? Blink forward, clap, Malphus, and they get the kill. The bird gets roasted, and LC get their pick. Little by little, they try to take what they can out of this rubber band, and just a little bit of a bounty.
That gives you nearly 2k net worth, so good trade there. They'll take it. BKB now up on the Brood Mama. BKB is going to make this game a little more difficult for LC. Back in the mid. Do they find Madara? He's hiding in the tree line here. They do find him. Yules right into the crush, right into the LSA. They don't even need the LSA, actually. Laguna more than enough to bring down the Brewmaster. Snipe on the G. It just tickles. He just swags it off. Good work, Sniper.
LC would probably not consider making a defense here, because they don't have the Brew, but boom! See you later!
Yep, now the next Yules comes out onto the Rubik. He's just going to chase down Weehaw. Says, you got that one, right, BZZ? Let me just go for the Sniper. Buyback, though, onto the Enigma. Weehaw will end up going down. Spartan, what's the play here? Even if you get the Black Hole, what's it going to do? Gets stunned up by the Slytherin Guard. Back towards the mid. Relax has joined the party, but what can the Brood do? He's got a BKB. He's already used it. And, oh, Enigma, it's a dieback. BZZ catches him. That, I think, is just a little bit of frustration there from the Enigma coming out.
Once they lost the Brew, they should not have been defending that tier 2.
Yeah,
and I mean, they just got caught out, and they were just taken down.
I think the thought to buy back from Enigma makes some sense. You've got a Black Hole. If you think you can turn the fight around, go for it, but they're not even sieging the high ground. They're just going for tier 2 towers. When you're this far behind, your priority is holding barracks, and that's when you need the Black Hole. I guess luckily for Enigma, he didn't waste it, but he did waste his buyback, and he's still stuck in the grave for another half minute.
Yeah, and he's going to be dreaming of finishing that BKB. Unless he can get another big bounty like he did previously, that's not going to be happening. Tier 2 drops mid lane, and they consider maybe tickling this tier 3 a little bit. Remember, the tier 3 top lane had been taken down. Bottom lane, the lane that pretty much Relax has been making home, has not been scathed too much. First Pro were like, you know what, we don't care about that lane. That's fine, Brood. You can go crazy there. We haven't even touched that tier 1. That's just gold that eventually we can get a hold of and put in our pockets for now, but we've been getting plenty of work done top and mid.
All right. Lina moving into an Aghanim Scepter, it seems like. Slardar with another 3k gold, and Shadow Fiend just went back for a Sanjin Yasha, a value item to get a little more combative, and now an ultimate orb. Probably the beginnings of a Scotty.
It's interesting. I was wagering that maybe he would have considered an AC on your Slardar. More minus armor, the better, I say.
Yeah, he could still go for it.
But he's a fighter.
Yeah.
He wants to fight.
He certainly is. Oh, another fight could break out here.
Oh,
Spartan
ha, ha.
has a black hole. Sniper, is this the play? Well, they're going to lose their ranged barracks here, I think, for sure. That's
not the play.
And, yep, that's a
almost tried to deny.
Deny all that sweet
Gotta look
gold.
for the positive in there somewhere because it's looking grim. LC on the verge of going down 0-2 in the series. Here's the moment.
Split.
Madara, jump in, split. Sudoi could be in trouble. Can he get the egg off? Goes for the Icarus dive. Shiva's telekinesis right into that egg, and they already take down both supports. No black hole happening for you. Sorry. And now Relax comes in from behind, but it gets torched.
Feeling a little bit over here. Enigma just gets completely juiced. Buyback from Relax, but his one item on cooldown for another minute. Now Madara goes back into brew form, gets blasted down a Laguna Blade for good measure, and yeah, we can see how that fight went pretty obviously here. We're going to need the team fight recap for this one. Now Relax will get cleaned up. More than a 5-hero wipe. It's a 6-hero kill, takedown, rather. Oh, this poor Enigma with the 2 Yule Scepters with no blink. He just can't get in position for a black hole. As soon as they see him walking in, they Yules him. And
it's
then
Yules, it's blinks. There's nowhere is safe.
Yeah.
And
once he gets caught out, there's a Light Striker Ray, there's a Slitherine Crush, there's a Requiem of Souls. So many things that can lock him down and prevent him from getting off his spells.
You have Enigma in the game as well because there's always the mind game of there's an Enigma, there could be a black hole, but that's not even a threat. That's just like, bring on your Enigma, bring on your black hole. We laugh at that.
It hasn't been a threat at all this game. They just crippled him so much of the jungle. I don't even feel like it's Spartan's fault that much. He hasn't played particularly poorly except for that buyback in the fight prior, but in the early game, they crippled him. Starting off with that invade in the jungle going so well for VP is just makes this game difficult for London Conspiracy. Now the full Scotty up on Shadow Fiend, the item progression for the Radiant getting out of control. They are breaching that 1,000 gold and XP per minute lead of nearly 30k here at the 28-minute mark.
I can't help but feel like the reason it was so hard for this Enigma and so hard in the early laning game is it just goes back to the draft. When you pick up something like a Sniper Brood as an opener, you're kind of putting your game plan out there. You're looking to play it safe and slow, and you're going to try to create space, and that just lays the foundation for Virtus Pro to build up a dream draft around that and just know exactly how the early game's going to go. And you saw it from the start. They know what to expect out of the Brood early game. The Sniper was constantly put in check because they knew that no one was going to be nearby to help him out. But here we go. Probably the end is they jump in, get the stun, get the Requiem Blast. Enigma goes down. Relax will be going down thereafter. Bruce Split's going to be happening, but they slowly bring down to the bed one by one. And
G just mans up on him. He's killing him with auto attacks. They tap out, and not a moment too soon. A disastrous team fight to end this game as they get cleaned up. And Virtus Pro looking hot in the opening series of Starladder Season 12 Europe, taking a convincing win there.
Yeah, I don't know if there's much more to say about it. I felt like the draft that LC threw together was a bit predictable, and Virtus Pro just saw the holes in it, and we're like, all we got to do is just put on a strong early game, and we should have no trouble whatsoever going from there. You could tell that Legion, or they keep calling him Legion Commander, the London squad, from UK.
The Greek squad.
You could just tell that, they were like, okay, well, they might come to the jungle. We'll prepare a level 1 that we don't really have the ammunition to take on a good level 1. Yeah. And that went to disaster. And at that point, they just pretty much took control of the mid lane and got everything they wanted.
It's like when you have a good business idea, but you're trying to get your startup going on credit cards. You don't have that VC yet, where they were at that high ground. They said, we need to defend this high ground. We had the strategy in mind, but they didn't quite do the math on our level 1 lineup is terrible. And conversely, Virtus Pro's level 1 lineup was really good. Lots of stuns, lots of damage on those level 1 spells, and starting off 2-0 is just amazing. That Shadow Fiend already had an advantage in the lane, and then that Earthshaker nearby, it just crippled anything Weehaw wanted to do. That Sniper, 3, 10, and 4, he couldn't do anything. He just got completely shut down. He only had 106 CS. Shadow Fiend had 280. That speaks to the level of dominance there.
Yeah.
All right, well, enough about that. We've got another match, or another series, rather, along the way, but we've got about 45 minutes, 50 minutes break until it gets started. Secret versus Duza Gaming. Should be a fun one. It's like 95-5 on the bets.
Hey, so you put one Arcana on Duza.
You're set for life.
Secret are like, man, we'll take it easy, And then, yeah, you got hats for life. So.
Oh, boy. Well, thank you for joining us, folks. I'm Zyori. That's KotlGuy. If you enjoyed the cast, follow us on Twitter, both in the title of this broadcast and, of course, follow at Beyond the Summit, as we are the official English partners for this season of Star Ladder. Stick around because more Star Ladder action's coming your way after this break.